together this wall will be Good evening, those at the center and those on Zoom. And welcome to this Thursday evening session here at the center from 6 to 6:30. We have the meditation called the Sanctuary of Peace, and then 6:30. The Zoomers can join us for the talk. Before we start, maybe we can take one moment of silence and just reflect on the theme for today. These inner terrorists called fear and anxiety. And how can we get rid of them? Is there anyone here for the first time here at the center? Or first time in touch with the BK on Zoom? All are seasoned visitors, but you have been to Peace Village, no? Okay, so we don't need to give an introduction of the Brahma Kumaris. My name is Rona, and I've been connected with the BK about 30 years or so, and here in this center the past 6 years. Okay, the terror of fear and anxiety, and how we can get rid of that terror. There is a saying in some cultures, I don't know if it exists in English, but it goes something like, danger can be real, but fear and anxiety is a product of my lack of wisdom. So danger may be there, But if I respond to that with fear or with anxiety, it is a sign of my lack of wisdom. I think that's very useful to reflect a bit more on, and also maybe think a bit deeper about what are the roots of fear and anxiety, and with the aim to how can we shift that? Can we come out of that? When you think of fear, what is it what comes to mind? Anyone can say?
Death.
Someone of Zoom is saying death or dying.
Or health problems.
Health problems.
Not knowing what the outcome is going to be.
Not knowing what the outcome is going to be. Doubt. Actually, maybe I should go to the board and write some of this down. Laws of control. Hope this works. No. What was the first? Death. No? Death. Health issues. Sorry, I forgot how you write that. Issues.
Is correct.
It's UE. ISSUE. Okay.
Sorry,
UES. ISSUES.
my first language is not English, as you can guess.
Correct.
Not knowing the outcome. Knowing outcome. What was the other one?
Loss of control.
Doubts. Loss of control. Anything else? When you think of fear or anxiety, what is it that comes up?
Accidents.
Doom?
Accidents.
Doom. Doom? What do you mean by doom? Like doom. Everything is meant to collapse and be destroyed. Depression. Someone else said something on.
Sister, nowadays it is like performance pressure, whether you will be able to do something or not.
A form of? I did not hear.
Performance
Performance
pressure.
pressure. Meaning you're expected to achieve, or you're expected to do something and you're not sure if you can. Is that what is meant? Okay.
I don't know how to say that, but like freezing in the moment, not being able to think clearly, just being overcome with the fear and freezing, just not being able to think and do.
Like panic.
Panic, overwhelm.
Yeah.
You were saying overthinking?
Fear of being judged.
Fear of being judged.
Past or future thinking. Like when I'm in fear, I'm never in the moment. I'm always fearful of what's going to happen, or I'm thinking about what did happen. But when I'm fearful, I'm never in the moment.
Yeah. It is a bit connected with this, no? This overthinking and out of context thinking. I know some are writing, but today there is not anyone who can help us read the chats. So, Anita, maybe?
I can read it, Sister Rona. Everyone is judging me only.
Everyone thinks that. That only they are being judged. Okay.
Life events, marriage, divorce.
Divorce. Marriage. Divorce.
Yeah.
Interesting, no? Almost everything.
Yeah, almost everything. Loss of control.
Loss of control, yeah.
False evidence appears real.
Sorry, false?
Evidence.
False evidence.
And the worst thing is
Feeling weak.
Yeah.
And inferior. Feeling of feeling weak and inferior.
Isn't it similar, like everyone is judging me?
Yeah, but this is a bit, not everyone is judging me. I am judging myself here. Yeah, weak and inferior. Rejection, fear of rejected. Self-loathing.
And sister, sometimes there is fear of unknown origin.
Yeah, someone said not knowing outcome, fear of the unknown.
And there is also something called FOMO, right? Fear of missing out.
Fear of missing out.
Fear of being robbed.
I think we got the idea. Blocking blessings. We got that, quite a list. Quite a list. Looking at this list, I get scared. So what can we do about this? I don't know. First of all, acknowledge. Anyone else? Let's go back to this saying. Danger may be real, but fear is the product of my lack of wisdom. So what would be that wisdom that can help us not get into these unpleasant states? Would there be some wisdom that can help us not feel like this? Our relationship to God. Connection with God. Anyone else has any connection with ourselves?
When I'm in a lot of fear, it helps me to recognize that whatever it is, there's an end to it. It's temporary.
one of the things that helped is to think that whatever is the situation it is there is an end to it. That situation will not last.
If you have faith in God, it's easier to face it.
If there is faith in God, it's easier to face it. Anything else? These are big, what would be the word? Terrorists is a good word, no? They create terror in your own mind, fear and anxiety. Maybe we should try and approach this from a little bit of a different angle. And someone is saying, I'm getting anxious watching this list, probably. Let us try to approach this in a very simple way to get an idea of what is the inner dynamics that is going on. Say you come here to the center. Some have come here to the center. You have come here with the feeling that you need nothing. You don't need anything from the center. You're visiting. So there's, what is it? Nicole is visiting the Manhattan Meditation Center. Just visiting. Doesn't need anything. This is not her home. She has eaten. She has drank before she came. She doesn't need anything from here. Just visiting. And then there is the meditation room. There are some people there to talk. There are some nice chairs to sit. There is light. There is heating. It is nice. But she doesn't need anything from here. It has become extra. She will come for an hour or so. Need nothing. It is an extra experience. Extra experience. This is her mindset. Maybe something to learn, maybe something to share, maybe some nice interaction, maybe some new people to meet. Nice. Learning something, hearing something new. Nice, extra. Will she be anxious? No. But if Nicole comes with the expectation or with the desire that she will receive what? $500. I'm just saying, giving some example. She's coming with the expectation to meet what's her name? I'm trying to think of some celebrity. Can't find anyone. Yeah. Beyonce. I don't even know if you write it like that. Anyway, she's coming here with the expectation that she is going to meet Beyonce. She's coming with the expectation she's gonna get $500. When she's coming here with this expectation, still there is There is some nice people around. There is a nice atmosphere. There is some music. There's a meditation room. There is chairs. But what will be going on in her mind? Where is Beyonce? And where is my money? And nobody is talking about Beyonce, and nobody's talking about the money, and when is it going to happen? When are they going to give me? So these thoughts start racing there. And some anxiety may be even coming because she was hoping and counting and desiring the $500, and nothing is showing in the direction even anything like this is going to happen. On top of that, some lady in white sitting here talking about some spiritual things. Where is the money? So what is going on in her mind? Can she be open for that extra experience? Because she's distracted by her expectations and desires. And she will go away with disappointment. She will go away with disappointment. Now, whose problem is that? What has created that disappointment, disillusionment?
She.
Yeah, her expectations and her desire. Not the people here, not the environment here, not the center. It is her expectations. And when those expectations are not met, there is disillusionment, there is, how do you call it? Deception.
Disappointment.
Disappointment, yeah. There is disappointment, disillusionment.
But sister, who gave her the expectations?
Whoever. But she carrying that in her mind.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
She carrying that in her mind. Some desire to get, some desire to receive, some expectation. And this may be very gross, but say she comes here with the expectation that somebody at the door standing there with juice and cake. Simple. Juice and cake. Person is not there. Same feeling will be there. Now, the problem in this situation is her expectations and her desires are not met by the outer environment. Now, if deeper inside she feels she needs this, if deeper inside it is not just a desire, it is a deeper feeling of need, whether it is real or whether it is imagined, she needs this. She can't be without it. Can't be without it. Can't live without it. It will not just be a sense of disillusionment. It will be a sense of, it will not just be a sense of, disappointment. It will be a sense of depression, a sense of loss, a sense of doubt, feeling rejected. All kinds of complicated feelings will come because her real or perceived need or feeling of I can't be without it is not being met. That becomes like a spiral, a downward spiral. Can you see this? Is this happening in New York City? Now, can we shift, or can we in any situation be in this state instead of in this state? Can we be instead of in a needy, victim, begging state? Can we be in a state of visiting, extra, need nothing state? Yeah. So what is needed to be in that state? We need to shift our deeper sense of who we are and what we are, our deeper sense of self, and our perspective on life and our interaction with life and life situations. Does that make sense? Yeah. Just one moment. Can we get the mic so that...
So let's say you're, visiting someplace, and maybe your expectation isn't $500 or something like that, but more being received with respect.
Yeah.
Or something that not validates
appreciation,
or not even that, or just a neutral, something like that just sees you as a human being. You feel like a human being. And you don't receive that. It is an expectation, right? But that you would be receiving that as a human being. But that's where I'm struggling a little bit, because when maybe if you don't have the expectation and you're just visiting, we all have some level of I'm a human being in this world, so therefore there should be some, maybe not $500, but I should be respectful of my neighbors and take a shower before coming, stuff like that, so they don't smell me. Something like that. It's small stuff.
Small stuff. But it is not so much the $500 or Beyonce or whatever. It is the expectation that creates the complication. And the expectation can be of something big or something small. The dynamic is the same. Yeah. But if there is self-worth and if there is appreciation for self, truly, deeply, firmly, then it truly doesn't matter what others do or not do. Yeah. If there is a true sense of self-worth, somebody says hello or not says hello, it doesn't diminish my sense of self-worth. It is nice if they say hello, if they don't. It doesn't take away who I feel I am. Understand? If we haven't cultivated that, or there isn't that wisdom of who the true self is, the beauty of the true self, and the worth of the true self, then I begin to rely on others to validate that. And when they don't, I feel less. So all these things are a sign and a signal to know ourselves and value our true self more deeply. Now, the spiritual knowledge says that if you truly know yourself, you will naturally value. But we don't really properly, in depth, know our true self.
What?
Was that a question from the center, or was that just a background? So what does spiritual go ahead, if you don't mind. Yeah, can you?
I feel what she said, because we belong to small groups, right? So we don't, just an example, we don't belong to New York. We belong to our family, we belong to our school, we belong to our workplace, you know what I mean? So you always compare with, even if you are very, how do I say, with a good self-esteem, but you always have people around you receiving things that you don't receive, or reinforce that comparison.
Yeah, comparison. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So how can you overcome that?
Yeah.
So it's not, I don't think it's just expectations. You have to fight all the time with this comparison. And if, for example, I dance, I belong to a small group of dancers, and in this
competitive environment.
So, and every time some people receive more compliments than others, and you see that struggle, and you see even 48 years people older, 18 years, they have the same struggle. Oh, I have to be better, you know. So you know.
No, very good. I mean, this is the environment in which we operate, but just wanting to introduce a completely different perspective and a completely different inner positioning, which might be the only real solution in the long run. But it is a bit of a radical shift internally. So at the moment, we think of ourselves as physical beings. Not Nicole. And Nicole has a certain physical appearance, and Nicole has a certain...
21.
And Nicole, if you want to say something, that's very nice. Just open the mic. But if you don't, please check with your mic. It's closed for those on Zoom. So we have a certain environment, you have a certain culture, a certain education, you have a certain physical appearance, there is a certain situation around possessions, certain financial status, certain maybe political or artistic abilities and aspirations. And we say, this is me. And there is a date of birth. And there is a place of birth. And there is a context of that birth. And of course, we know, but we don't like to think or talk about it. There will also be a moment of that. And what does that means? End of the body and end of all of this. And the reason why we fear that is because we kind of identify with all of this. And we feel our sense of self and our sense of value depends on all of this. And so if all of this disappears, it's kind of like a black hole. Nothingness. And that in itself is very fearful because you don't know. That fear of the unknown is very much connected with that fear of death and that fear of losing anything or anyone or everything. And we don't like this word, and. Now, now, why is that? That we don't like this word end? Why does it go so against our sense of comfort? Why does it break our sense of feeling secure? Why does it break our sense of self-respect even? Maybe because the true self does not end. Yeah. Maybe because it is our nature to experience that what is unending. But because of the way we approach life and we approach these things, we feel that all of this end, and it makes us uncomfortable. Because maybe our true nature is time of timelessness and the experience of timelessness. And so this radical inner shift, this radical inner positioning is the real self. The real self is a spiritual being, a non-physical, invisible being of consciousness. The real self is timeless and immortal. And the real self associates for a temporary period with the body and with all the attributes around the body. And we missed one important one. Others, say some friends or family. We associate with this for a temporary period of time. All of this is you understand this word extra? It is extra. And to rediscover that we are timeless beings, that we are immortal beings, that we are beings of light, that we are beings with innate divine potential, souls. And that this is extra. How would we feel if we would live with this awareness and with this sense of self? It's a dream. But the only thing that is different is inner positioning is the real self, is this timeless, peaceful, divine being of light. This is me. And this is the package or the vehicle, temporary vehicle. And a vehicle has a beginning and an end. Is that a problem for the driver?
May I ask a question here?
Go ahead.
The end of the vehicle, if it comes with the terrorist attack or with the terminal illness, then also there's a fear and anxiety. How do you address that?
There's only fear and anxiety when there are certain expectations or desires about this. You know, if you come here to the meditation center and it is extra, whether you sit on this chair for 10 minutes or 20 minutes or 2 hours or 3 hours, doesn't really matter. It is extra. You don't need it. After 10 minutes, they're asking you the chair back. You say, fine. Don't need a chair in the first place. Yeah.
There's
You come here, it is extra experience. It's nice. You interact, you share deeper feelings of love or wisdom. It is a nice experience, but you don't need it in the first place. Mm. Mm. Someone is saying some people's life, like for example in the Middle East, it is not a nice environment, so that is not a nice extra. Maybe, because our perspective is also very limited. But at the same time, that is not our reality at this moment here for us. Okay, maybe for them it is a horrible situation. And I'm not saying that war is a virtuous thing. I'm not saying that at all. But our mind tends to focus on that what is perceived as negative. And many other things we tend not to see. But at least our reality at this moment, we are not at war in our immediate physical surroundings. Am I able to hold, at least to begin to explore this? And to Anita's question, if something, some health issue or whatever, it still is based on my expectations. If I see it as extra, even 10 minutes is extra. A story that we often share is the story of we were on a way to a program and we were visiting a friend. And that friend, she is married into aristocracy in England. Husband is brilliant. They have a huge villa. They have servants. Her children are brilliant, studying in the best universities in England. They lack nothing. They have everything in the mansion that they live in. She can do whatever she likes. And we were there about a little less than half an hour, but she was complaining all the time. So when you leave, you kind of feel a bit relieved. But she is with herself 24/7. And she is with that mind 24/7. Now, we went to a program, and in the program, on the side, there was a 17-year-old boy sitting in a wheelchair. And he had an ongoing smile on his face, and his eyes were sparkling. And at the end of the program, he came up and he said, life is a miracle, and every day is a gift from God. And he was smiling and glowing. Now he is paralyzed from his neck down since the age of 7. So more than 10 years he's in this wheelchair. He can't do anything physically, but this is how he feels. Life is a miracle, and every day is a gift from God.
So I have a question.
One moment, let me finish this.
Please, of course.
Same world, same life. Look at her circumstances and look at his circumstances. But who is healthier inside? Hey. Who has less fear and anxiety? Who probably has more pleasant relationships? Most probably. whose mind is more at ease. Yes. Now, what is the difference? He has no expectations. Every day is an extra gift. Now, and when things become extra gifts, you can enjoy them, but you're not in the illusion or disillusionment or disappointment mode. Now, if we can position ourselves like that towards this whole physical world, towards this body, it is extra. It is an extra, this body is an extra gift for you to use. Nature gives you this body to use. For how many years you have been using it? 50 plus years. Some of us maybe less, some of us maybe more. 50 plus years. Nature has given you this body as a gift to use, to see things, to hear things, to interact with others, to share, to experience the sun, to experience the rain, to experience the snow, to experience the heat, to experience the cold, to experience food, to experience talking, to experience sleeping, to experience learning, to experience all forms of entertainment. Soul has received this gift of this body, but it is temporary. Body is like on loan, but that's okay. Doesn't need to last forever. You are okay. You are an immortal, spiritual being of light, and it is an extra experience. Now, how you use your gift, that has to do with your wisdom. Some may use it, somebody gives you a car, you can use their car, and some may take it for a swim in the Hudson River. Won't last very long. But some will drive around the city, some will drive upstate, and they will enjoy the car ride more. It remains extra, and it remains temporary. But how you use it adds or diminishes the quality of your experience, your extra gift. If you take it for a swim, it will quickly stop working. But if you drive it and take care of it properly, it can last a bit longer. But you know, car, you have to give back the car. It's not yours. That's okay. Understand? So this fear and anxiety just means a habitual fear that you don't even have control over anymore. It just emerges and pops up. Can't even rationalize anymore. But if we position ourselves in this world, in this body, as immortal, timeless, divine, invisible beings of light, souls, and we have come in this world for an extra experience. Now, I can say this nicely, and you can even understand this and grasp this, but the benefit you will only experience when you experiment with this. A minute at a time, a minute at a time. So during your day, during your everyday, just take a moment. What would be the perspective if I see myself as this invisible spiritual being, innately peaceful, innately secure, immortal, a being of peace, a being of love, a being of wisdom, a being of silence, belonging to another dimension. And I have come here for a temporary period, and I will leave, and that's okay. I don't need anything from this world to exist.
May I confess something? I get the concept, really. But in meditation, when I close my eyes or even eyes open, I see the light and feel the energy, but nevertheless, it feels so empty. So I can't grasp it. And maybe that's why I have the attachment for a good job, a good reputation, a possession, a relationship. So for me, it's at least it seems very hard to feel really that soul that I am, or that you tell us that we are. Am I doing something wrong?
No, I don't think you're doing something wrong, but it is maybe, how to say this, it needs to be nourished further, and it has more detail. And also it needs to be nourished regularly, because not only am I a spiritual being, I belong to a family of spiritual beings. If I am a spiritual being, you are too. You are too. You are too. We're all spiritual beings, 8 billion. And that's excluding animals. So there are a few more billion other spiritual beings, souls. If truly deeper inside that becomes my, what is it? My consciousness, then I will feel all are my family. That adds to that feeling of I am a spiritual being. Not alone. All are spiritual beings and all are my family. So family adds to that. But not only that, we belong to another dimension, which is home. It is a dimension that is also timeless and endless. Home of the souls. It is another dimension. It is not, how to say, it is beyond the dimension of sound and matter and movement. The soul world. So from there we have come visiting this world of matter, this world of sense experiences. And we will go back there. And this is eternal home, indestructible home, timeless, invisible. It is an experience of timelessness, of endless light and silence and peace. And we exist as a family. And more the deepening of that experience and that awareness comes, it brings fullness and happiness and a sense of belonging that doesn't end. It brings a sense of togetherness. It brings a sense of security that doesn't end with the changing dynamics of the physical world. And from that fullness and stability and peace, you come here. Nice roller coaster ride. But at the end of the roller coaster ride, we will just go back home. But at this moment in time, the whole world has forgotten this. We've forgotten ourselves, we've forgotten the true home. So we're like in this orphan type of mindset. And this has become our world. This has become our sense of self and our sense of identity and our sense of value. But this is changing all the time. And some parts of it are not even so nice anymore, even. One moment, somebody on Zoom wanted to ask something.
Yes, hi, thank you. So just as an example, if we were to take it, so for example, let's say that a young man was stuck in a closet, right? The closet wasn't opening and he couldn't open it, he tried. So for some time he stayed there, okay. Now, after a couple of hours, so here was his expectation was to get out of the closet, right? That was his desire. So in the beginning, he was okay with that. After several hours passed away and that expectation was still not being met, so he got into a state of fear, right? Let us say, because nobody took him out and he couldn't open it himself. Now we take that still another few hours later where now he's wanting to go to the bathroom or he's getting hungry and things like that. So that state of fear is increasing because the expectation of not getting out of the closet hasn't happened. So then how does one deal when one is in, those kind of situations? How does one deal with that fear?
Of not coming out of that closet as a literal situation?
Yes, exactly. Because he's actually stuck in that closet. No one knows, so no one's taking him out. He can't get out. He's stuck there. And, so I understand the correlation between fear and expectation. But now when it's getting to another level, how does one get themselves into this other world without having to be in that state of fear or desire?
First of all, we should practice with simple, little daily things. We are not stuck in a dark closet at present. Yeah, but simple little situations. Neighbors that say hello or not say hello. Start there. No need. Nice is nice, not nice is fine. Start with your body every morning when you wake up. Is there that deeper sense of gratitude of the gift of this body to use for another day? The gift of these eyes to use for another day? The hands to use for another day? Start with simple things and start with this simple inner positioning of knowing the self as a being of light, as a being of peace, a being of consciousness that transcends the limitations of the body. And when we start doing that with simple little things and touching base, emerging the experience of that inner beauty, then we can deal with the outer situations from a place of fullness. And we might not be able to handle the closet situation necessarily, but many other situations we will be able to handle. And so the fear and the anxiety will be much less. And maybe even the dark closet at some stage we would be able to handle without fear. Because also being fearful or being anxious doesn't resolve the situation. It just makes us weaker and more confused. So we cannot see possible openings and solutions. You will have to hold it.
I don't know how to say that. It's a little polemical. But okay, let's suppose there is no God, there is no immortality, no soul, none of this. It still, it still works.
Yeah.
How?
Yeah.
How it works for atheist people. How it works for
this is irrelevant whether you're atheist or not atheist. if you take this positioning, if you take this positioning of an outside perspective, you still will feel better. But it doesn't really matter. We shouldn't, we can theorize. But this will only work for you if you experiment with it. And if you play with this yourself and explore and experiment, but also if we observe life and if we observe the dynamics of life events, and if we observe our own life, we can get many, many, many insights and hints that there must be other powers at work. Inside, yeah. Let alone God, whatever, but just inside. Your thoughts are not physical. Who creates your thoughts? Yeah. But who creates your thoughts? You have the thought to came here. Who created that thought? You did. Now, if your thought is not physical, isn't it possible that you yourself are not physical? If your creation is not physical, then maybe the one who is creating thoughts is not physical also. Now, the difference between this microphone and the real you is this microphone doesn't have the ability to create thoughts, doesn't have the ability to experience things. Otherwise, it would complain and say, I'm tired now, finished. I'm not working anymore. The walls, matter. The difference between consciousness and matter is the ability to experience, the ability to create thoughts. And we are experiencers. You say like that? Invisible, beings invisible who are experiencing. So maybe I am. But even if I don't believe, I can still experiment with this consciousness and see how I feel. And if something makes me feel more free, it may be more useful to hold that mindset than a mindset that constantly creates fear.
There is a question on the chat. How do you handle when someone has PTSD?
You yourself or someone in your surrounding?
Doesn't specify someone.
A specific traumatic experience. Like I said, we cannot, the time has already passed, actually. But we cannot give all the detailed answers for every specific situation, but there are answers for that too. And one answer we had already given, we look at things in isolation. Now, something happened in the past that was an unpleasant experience. But there are many other things also happening. And we tend to highlight one thing. Now, today, you may have done 100 things. And 100 things you may have done good. But one thing you didn't do good. What will that thing be that you are obsessed about at the end of the day? That one thing that you didn't do good. And you do not recognize and acknowledge for yourself those other 100 things that you did okay. Yeah, because our mindset has become so limited and trapped in limited perspectives. And this is why I feel not just meditation, but a spiritual journey and spiritual knowledge to broaden our horizon, to open up our perspectives. And we need that because we're living in a world where more and more our perspectives have become very limited. Consciousness has become stuck. And even our educational system, it has like a tunnel kind of thing, which every day is more limited, more limited, more limited. And the real roots of a solution are in spiritual learnings and spiritual experiments to see beyond what we have been taught to and habitually started to believe. To go beyond that. I'll stop here and I'll finish with a story that many of you may have heard, but it can not harm to hear it again. Every time when you hear it, it might help you remember. This is the story of the eagle's egg that is mixed with chicken's eggs. And mother chicken has a big heart, so she breeds all of them, and these little chicks hatch, and she teaches them all to be good chicken. And so this little chicken walking in the yard, scratching around, looking for worms and grains, and at night sleeping in the chicken coop. One day, he sees a big shadow on the ground. Huge shadow. He looks up and he sees this huge bird flying. And he asks his brother, what is that? That is the eagle, the king of the bird. He can fly, touches the clouds, see the ocean, goes over the mountains, king of the birds. And the little one said, I also want to fly. He said, no, no, we are chicken. We are birds of the ground. We can't fly. And so he doesn't believe, so he tries his wings and he goes up, but he falls. He's not practiced enough. The muscles are not strong enough. So he flaps around, goes up, falls, flaps around, goes up and falls. And then his brother sees him flapping around. And brother says, hey, dummy, didn't I tell you? We are chicken. We can't fly. We are birds of the ground. Come, let's go and look for worms and grains. And so he looks at the bird, he looks at his brother, he looks at the bird, and he looks at his brother, and he thinks, I'm a chicken. So his perspective is of chicken, his experience is of chicken, his relationship are with chicken, his world is the world of the chicken. But he was that eagle's egg. And this is precisely. And his worries and fears are of chicken, even though he is eagle. Something similar has happened to humanity. We are angels' eggs. We are God's eggs. But we are trapped in chicken consciousness. And experiences of the ups and the downs of the chicken world. And the successes and the failures of the chicken world. What we need to do is to open up to the possibility of being eagle. Start using your wings, and it will be flapping around in the beginning and flapping and falling and flapping and falling. But you will gradually start to experience the thrill and the beauty of flying. And our deeper longings actually tell us that we are birds of the sky. Because if it wasn't our innate nature, we wouldn't long for peace. We wouldn't long for harmony. We wouldn't long for harmony. We wouldn't long for security. We wouldn't long for freedom. We wouldn't long for wisdom if that was not our innate nature. We would be quite happy flapping around in the chicken world. But it makes us anxious, makes us fearful, because we're going against our own nature. So let us jump out. Flap around, don't worry, it will get better. The problem is we listen to the chicken. And there are many chicken out there, but there are many chicken in here telling you you are just chicken. Giving excuses to stay chicken. Okay, we really have to stop. But for those who want to explore this a bit more and a bit more intense, I would definitely encourage you. This Monday, a course is starting in Raj Yoga, where we will go in depth of these concepts. Yeah, this Monday coming, it's this Monday, isn't it, Anita? I think so. November 6th or is November?
Oh, November 13th, Sister Rona.
Yeah, sorry, not this Monday, next Monday, November 13th. For 7 days, we will have a course where we will in-depth explore this consciousness with much more detail and practices, and also explore the the rules of this game and some more spiritual understandings with the practice of meditation. Yeah, it is Monday through to Sunday, 7 days, like a retreat. Give yourself a retreat from 6:30 to 8. Yeah. Here, yes, in person and on Zoom. For those who would like to join through Zoom. But in person gives gives an extra.
Do we have to register?
Sorry?
Do we have to register for that?
If you come in person, you don't have to register. If you want to receive the Zoom details, you will have to register. But also if you want to receive the recordings, you should register so that we get your email and then you receive the recordings in your email.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. But if you can, give yourself that gift of 7 days. Like what is it? Like an oven. As if merge yourself into spiritual wisdom and spiritual experiences. Okay, let's close with and just reflect on this thing for a minute or so. The eagle and the chicken. The eagle will always feel awkward behaving and living a life of chicken. Will feel not fitting in, doing his best, utmost hard work. But he will always long to fly. That eagle is the real you, the soul.